Welcome to SAT Prep Thursday. Today we're doing College Board SAT Practice Test number 10, Part 4, numbers 1 through 19. This is a calculator-approved section, so I will be using either a TI-30XS or a TI-30XA. Also, there is a file link in the description for this practice test. A helicopter initially hovering 40 feet above the ground begins to gain altitude at a rate of 21 feet per second. Which of the following functions represents the helicopter's altitude above ground y in feet t seconds after the helicopter begins to gain altitude? So we start out with this hovering at 40 feet. This is our B value. So 40 should be an all by itself number, which it is in all three of these cases, but we get to eliminate B as an answer. Now it's going to gain altitude at F feet per seconds. So we need a plus some number per time. Plus number per time actually leaves with B. Now that number is 21 feet per second. See, it's not going down, and if we did that, it would just be hovering at 61 feet. That's why B is the answer. A text messaging plan charges a flat fee of $5 per month for up to 100 text messages sent, plus 25 cents for each additional text message sent that month. Which of the following graphs represents the cost Y of sending X text messages a month? It starts at $5 a month, but it does maintain a steady until the 100. So D can't be an answer and C can't be an answer. Now, when we look at A and B, both of them hold flat for that first up to 100. But does it start giving money back to you or charging you money? That eliminates B, leaving A as the answer. Jake buys a bag of popcorn at a movie theater. He eats half the bag of popcorn during the 15 minutes of previews. After eating half of the popcorn, he stops eating for the next 30 minutes. Then he gradually eats the popcorn until he accidentally spills all of the remaining popcorn. Which of the following graphs could represent the situation? So in the beginning, what we have is the amount of popcorn in the bag must be decreasing at a fairly decent rate. And it occurs in the first three, but for some reason in 4, it looks like the amount of popcorn is going up, so we can eliminate that as an answer. Now, he does stop eating popcorn for a period of time, and that does occur in all of these, but it does say that he stopped eating popcorn for 30 minutes. So if we look at this time frame, we're looking for 30 minutes. And this is not 30 minutes, so we can eliminate A as an answer. It does say that he then begins to eat popcorn again. Now, in this case, it looks like he must be regurgitating the popcorn into the bag, which would be gross, so we can eliminate it. Here, it does go down, and then it goes to 0 because he dropped the bag of popcorn, giving us B as the answer. If 20 minus x is equal to 15, what is the value of 3x? The first thing we want to do is go find the value of x here. Now, this would mean that 20 minus 15 is equal to x, or 5 is equal to x, which means 3 times 5 would give us 15 is our value for here. C is the answer. For the function f defined above, what is the value of f of negative 1? In this case, all we have to do is substitute a negative 1 in place of x and go ahead and solve it. Negative 1 plus 3 would give us a 2 over 2, which is 1, meaning C is the answer. Which of the following is equivalent to 2x times 2x squared minus 3x? Let's distribute this into the parentheses. 2x times 2x squared would give me a 2x cubed. So if it does not have a 2x cubed, then I can go ahead and eliminate that as an answer. 2x times negative 3x would be minus 6x squared, which leaves us with D as the answer. A retail company has 50 large stores located in different areas throughout a state. A researcher for the company believes the employee job satisfaction varies greatly from one store to store. Which of the following sampling methods is most appropriate to estimate the population of all employees of the company who are satisfied with their job? So the thing is, the researcher believes that it varies greatly from store to store. So selecting one of the 50 stores at random and then surveying those employees, this would not tell us how happy they are at all 50 stores. Selecting 10 employees from each store at random, then surveying each employee selected. This would allow us to survey employees at every single store. So this absolutely could be an answer. Surveying the 25 highest paid employees and the 25 lowest paid employees. Now, this doesn't guarantee that we're going to go ahead and spread it out amongst all the stores, so it doesn't help us at all. Creating a website on which employees can express their opinions and then using the first 50 responses. And again, this does not ensure that we get all of the stores' opinions, so we're left with B as the answer. The two graphs above show the total amount of money that Ian and Jeremy each have deposited into their savings accounts for the first 7 weeks after opening their accounts. After they made their initial deposits, how much more did Ian deposit each week than Jeremy? So let's take a look. This line right here is Ian, and it seems like Ian is depositing $100 each week. And Jeremy, if we look at this, it's a little harder to tell, but if we go from here to here, then we can see that while it is $100 in 2 weeks, it means that it is $50 in 1 week. So 100 minus 50 gives us $50. C is the answer. The function h is defined above. What is h of 5 minus h of 3? Well, h of 5, this would give us 2 to the 5th power, which is 32. And h of 3, this would give us 2 to the 3rd power, which is 8. So 32 minus 8 would give us 24. C is the answer. A researcher surveyed a random sample of students from a large university about how often they see movies. Using the sample data, the researcher estimated that 23% of the students in the population saw a movie at least once per month. The margin of error for this estimation is 4%. Which of the following is the most appropriate conclusion about all students at the university based on the given estimate and margin of error? It is unlikely that less than 23% of students see a movie at least once per month. Now, we already know that we have a margin of error of 4%, which means it can go all the way down to 19. At least 23, but no more than 25% of the students see a movie at least once a month. And that's not true because 23 minus 4 would be 19, so that's gone. The researcher is between 19 and 27% sure that most students see a movie at least once per month. And that's not true because this 19 and 27% would represent the number of students who see a movie, not how sure that the researcher is. So that's out. It is plausible that the percentage of students who see a movie at least once a month is between 19 and 27%, and that is our answer. The table above shows two lists of numbers. Which of the following is a true statement comparing list A to list B? So we're talking about the mean compared to the standard deviation. So let's first check what the mean is. Either the mean is going to be the same or it's going to be different. It allows us to eliminate half the answers. Now, if I add up all of these numbers and divide by 6, I find that the mean for list A is 3.5. And if I add up and divide by 6 everything in list B, I get a mean of 3.5, which means their mean is the same, so C and D are out. Just looking at the two lists, I can see that I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very even distribution. As a graph, it would look like this, where here I would have it moving up, up, and up. So this graph would look quite different. That means that their standard deviations would be different. So A is the answer. A book was on sale for 40% off its original price. If the sale price of the book was $18, what was the original price of the book? And assume that there's no sales tax. Now, if the book was on sale for 40% off, that means that we paid 60% of the original sale price X to get $18. So 18 divided by 0.6 would give us X, which is $30. C is the answer. For questions 13 and 14, we're going to refer to the following information. 3 colonies of insects were treated with different pesticides over an 8-week period to test the effectiveness of 3 pesticides. Colony A, B, and C were treated with pesticide A, B, and C, respectively. Each pesticide was applied every 2 weeks to one of the 3 colonies over the 8-week period. The bar graph above shows the insect counts for each of the 3 colonies, 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8 weeks after the initial treatment. Which of the following colonies showed a decrease in size every 2 weeks after the initial treatment with pesticides? Looking at the graph, just looking at colony C, it went from low to very high, then worked its way down, which means anything with colony C must be eliminated. So I know that this did not work, so I can eliminate this and this. Now the question is, if it's 1 and 2 only, really the thing to take a look at now is colony 2. And we see that it does go down even when it's a little bit every single time. So 2 is definitely an answer. Since 2 is definitely an answer, it must be C. Of the following, which is the closest to the ratio of the total number of insects in all 3 colonies in week 8 to the total number of insects at the time of the initial treatment? So we're looking at an end number to an initial number. And in the end, we had right about 20, 10, and 50. So we can say 20 plus 10 plus 50 to get 80. Now, initially, it seemed that there were about 80, 65, and about 55. So 80, 65, and 55 gives us 200. I'm looking at 80 to 200, or 8 to 20. That 8 to 20 simplifies to 4 to 10, which goes 2 to 5, which is our answer, A. A right circular cone has a volume of 24 pi cubic inches. If the height of the cone is 2 inches, what is the radius in inches of the base of the cone? So the volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. If we understand that h is 2 and that the volume is equal to 24 pi, then what I have is 24 pi is equal to 1/3 pi r squared times 2. So if I multiply both sides by 3, this is going to become 72. And divide both sides by pi so that that is gone. This is going to leave me with r squared times 2. So we divide by 2 to get 36 is equal to r, or r is equal to plus or minus 6. Now there can't be a minus 6, so the radius is 6b. In 2015, the population of City X and City Y were equal. From 2010 to 2015, the population of City X increased by 20%, and the population of City Y decreased by 10%. If the population of City X was 120,000 in 2010, what is the population of City Y in 2010? So X was 120,000. This increased by 20%, so multiply that by 1.2. This is going to give us 144,000 as City X. Now, City Y is 10% decreased from there. Now, remember, they were equal at this point, at this 144. So we're dealing with a zero. Y times 0.9 is equal to 144,000, which means 144,000 divided by 0.9 will give us 160,000, so C is the answer. The volume of the sphere is given by the formula V is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed, where r is the radius of the sphere. Which of the following gives the radius of the sphere in terms of volume of the sphere? So if I have V is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed, let's deal with this 4/3 and say V times 3/4 is equal to pi r cubed. Divide both sides by pi, and this is going to give us 3V over 4 pi is equal to r cubed. Now I'm going to take the cube root of that and get the cube root of 3V over 4 pi is equal to the radius. And that's going to give us D is the answer. The table above shows the results of a survey in which tablet users were asked how often they would watch video advertisements in order to access streaming content for free. Based on the table, which of the following is closest to the probability that a tablet user answered always, given that the tablet user did not answer never? So we're really looking at an always over a never. Now, always was 30.9, so we can say this is 30.9, and divide that by the total of always and never, which was 68.7. So divide by 68.7, and this is going to give us 0.45, which is C. In the equation above, A is constant. The graph of the equation in the xy plane is a parabola. Which of the following is true about the parabola? So just starting out, I see that we're talking about whether it's a minimum or a maximum. Now, this has a negative sign. That what this means is I have a frowny face as my parabola. So we're going to be talking about a maximum that occurs. So we get to eliminate A and B as an answer. Since this is in vertex form, we're talking about an H and a K value. H being X, K being Y, so I'm really looking at the opposite of this because we would wind up with an X minus H. So H is the positive 3. This gives us D as our answer.